Right, we'll start with access modifiers. So as we discussed, we have a couple of reserved keywords. We have discussed many of them. So a couple of them are pending. So one of them, or one of the concept, is access modifier. So we will try to understand what is access modifier, how access modifier playing an important role in Java, and why we need this access modifier. That we will try to discuss it. Okay. So before going to that, let me create one demo class and package com.demo and click finish. So now class is generated. Here, let me explain what is access modifier first. So access modifier is nothing but the result words which is having accessibility and functionality. So the reserved words which is having the accessibility and functionality, specific functionality by own actually. So that is called access modifier actually. So basically we have four different access modifiers. One is public access modifier. Access modifier basically four types. One is a public. So one is a public, and the second one is private. Public. Second one is private. And the third one is protected. Fourth one is default. So these are the four access modifiers that Java is having. One is a public, and second one is a private, and third one is a protected. Fourth one is a default. So basically we have four different access modifiers, right? So we'll start with public, and we will try to understand what is public is called. Whenever you write a class, by default is public is generated. Whenever you write a method, by default we are writing the public. So as I told, when there is a chance, when there is a topic, we will discuss about this public. That's what I told you. Forgot about this public earlier. That's what I told initially. So now we will try to understand what is the importance of this public, right? If a class, if a variable, if a method you are making as a public, so in front of that method, if you adding the public access modifier, that is nothing but you can utilize that specific method or variable or class anywhere in this project. We have created access demo project. This can be accessible anywhere in the project. When you make a class, when you make a method, when you make a variable as a public, that can be accessible anywhere in the project. So that can be accessible anywhere in the project. Okay, so that is public access modifier is called. So let me write a method. Let me show you public void hello. This is the method, and system.out.println hello. I'm a public method, right? So now let me create a new class here. New class. So 40, the class name is. Okay, so 40 is trying to access. 40 is trying to access that method. So main method you can write it. Okay. Right, so now you can create an object for the class. Demo object equals to new demo, and object dot, okay, object dot hello. Okay, so when you do this and when you run this, oh sorry, run as Java. Okay, it is accessing. Okay, this is some package, sorry, some class which is there in the same package. And if you have the another package, if you have the class in that another package, and if you can create an object, then you can get it, right? So now what we have understood is why we are adding public in front of starting a class or a method or variable. If I'm declaring public static int x equals to 10, so if we declare like that, when we add this public, that means we have to create. It is not like a static without creating object we can access it. It is not like a static. Those are non-access modifier. They're having the accessibility, don't have the functionality. For this one, having the accessibility and the functionality, right? So this is a public. So when say the public, when they say public, okay, that means that can be accessible anywhere in the project, right? Right, that is what a public access modifier is called. Next one we will try to discuss about the private. Right, what is private and why we need private modifier? So private, the word itself telling private. So those are, see, for example, we use it to call people having the private jets. So the private, that means their own property. Okay, they can only utilize. So apart from that, nobody can utilize them. So that is called a private. Here in Java, when we say private, when you make a method as a private, when you make a variable as a private, that means we can access them within that class. So, okay, outside of the class, we cannot access the we cannot access that variable or method. See, for example, I am writing the same method. Okay, so this is hello and this is hello one I'm writing, and public and private method. Now, instead of this public, what I'm writing is private. Let's see what will happen. Now, the same approach I'm doing, I have created another class and I created object for the class, and I'm trying to access that method hello one. So here you can see the compile time error. What it is saying is, boss, that hello one is a private method. You cannot access outside of the demo. If you wanted to run, if you wanted to execute, you can create a main method inside this class and you can run it this private method. But you cannot access this method outside of the class. Here what it is telling, you can see the error. The method hello one from type is not visible. So which is having the visibility and accessibility, where private is does not having the visibility from outside the class, that is called private. So private, when we write a method as a private, what is our intention is, we are not allowing someone to do the modification, we are not allowing someone to do the access this method outside the class. This is unique or specific to this class. So now hope you are clear with what is the private, right? We'll try to discuss with the protected. Okay, protected. See, when we say protected, the word itself is telling protected. Why I'm giving the example? So you cannot by heart these things. You should be able to understand. That's why I'm explaining in a way. So I'm giving with the real time scenario. Protected means when we see when we use it to hear this one actually. So if you are in a place where government is providing the quarters, so those are the protected areas. Protected areas means that is having the limited access, but not for single body. See, for example, there is having the vehicles, or there is having the playground, and there is having club, whatever it may be. So that is a protected, means that can be accessible for a limited people. Nobody can access. See, outside of the people cannot access that. So that is called protected. So the protected area or protected vehicle. So that is not a private one, that is not for one single person or not own resource. But what happened there, they're having some limit. So only some people can access, or remaining people cannot access. So those areas are protected areas, right? Likewise, when we say a protected access modifier, we can access this modifier but within the package. Within the package we can access the protected. See, for example, com.demo is one package. I can access that specific one within this class. If I wanted to access outside of this package, that is not possible. Okay, that is called protected. So when we write a protected wide okay, and protected method, when I write like this, okay, now you can say we can access that. You can access this, and when you run, you can able to see public is printing and protected is printing. Okay, so I wanted to show you in some different scenario. Here what I'm doing is extends demo. Okay, it is applicable for while extending also, the same thing will be applicable. That's what I'm trying to show you. Okay, object equals to right. So this is called couple of modifier that we discussed. Okay, so when we say the default one, so nothing will be there. There is no care of. So no need to add any access modifier. You can simply write it. So we'll try to discuss about what is access modifier default will do. What is the visibility of the default, right? So default is works like a protected. This can be accessible within the package. Outside of the package, you cannot access it. So when you are not writing anything, that means that is default one. Okay, so this is a default one syntax. You can write a method without adding the access modifier, that is default. So default is having the accessibility as like protected, right? So now we'll try to create a new package and we can try to see the default scenario one more time. New package. Okay, so calm down, hello, and click finish and create a new class ASDF, and you can try to extend extends. You can write extends demo, right? Main method package we have to import. Okay, main method object equals to new. Oh my god. Main method ASDF object equals to new ASDF. Okay, and what I'm trying to do is object dot, I'm calling the gap. You can see what happened. That is not visible because that is a default. You cannot access it. And outside of the package, when I try to write hello, it is allowing and I can able to access it. The reason because this is public method, so you can access anywhere. It is a different package, you can access it. Private anyway, hello, it is not able to access within the package. Outside of the package also not possible. Then we will come back to the next one. What are the methods we have? And gap, so we cannot access this outside, right? So this is the couple of access modifiers that we're having. So based upon our requirement, our conditions like accessibility conditions, we have to add the conditions, or we have to add that access modifiers to methods or variables, so that the visibility or the accessibility that will restricted by this specific access modifier.